Okay. All right. See if I could get a little bit more light. Nope, that lamp is not plugged in. Okay. So here we go. Let me pull my chair up and get more comfortable. All right. So it's been a while. And I just want to introduce myself. I am Reverend Kerrie Stone, and I am the founder of SheThatExists, and also the founder of SheThatExists, HerStory channel, right here on YouTube. So this light is like getting a glare in my glasses. Okay. That should be good for now. All right. So I am Reverend Kerrie Stone, and I am the founder and owner of SheThatExists and SheThatExists HerStory channel right here on the YouTube. And I am also an ordained minister, a metaphysical practitioner. There, that's better. And I am a lifelong 33 years studier and student of the soul and a practicing soulologist. And I have been a follower of the way and the truth and light as a Yahushuan for 33 years. I gave my life to God at 15 years old, and I have been an avid student of life for 33 years. It all began at 15 years old when I came into the conscious remembering and knowing that the school system was lying to me, that my parents weren't telling me the whole truth about everything, and my soul, who I am, was guiding me into the deeper truths of life. I left out that I also have my mastery in consciousness, which was very meaningful to me. And that came at a very, I would say, auspicious time in my life, a time, so to speak, of my life. Oh no, it says my connection is unstable. Because, okay, here we go. The opportunity for me in mastering consciousness came at a very auspicious time in my life, and it came during a time where I thought that like all the doors in my life were closed. I was going through a very challenging divorce and separation from my husband at the time, and major heartbreak because I had entered into that marriage and that covenant with God through prayer, with a pastor that later they ended up writing a movie about his life because he founded a cowboy church, and they made a movie about his life. And so it was during that time that a door opened for me to begin a classroom setting to earn my mastery in consciousness. And that's all I'm going to share about that for now. However, with that being said, the title of this message is Hold On to Your Soul and Your Light with Everything That You Have. Now, it has been a while since I have come on here and have performed my Sunday ministry duties live because my soul was not in alignment with my calling and my purpose from God, from Creator, from life. And anyone who would come onto my lives and watch my channel, gosh, I don't know how long it's been since I've gone live as an ordained minister on Sundays. However, I want to share a little story about why that is, why it has been a while since I've been on here on Sundays giving a message as an ordained minister. And that is because I was in a position where Creator, God, life did not want me. And I was in that position because I was meant to be where I was at for such a time as this, because I am a being of light. And as a being of light, sometimes Creator Almighty will send us into places as silent witnesses and observers to observe, to see the situation and different situations for what it is. And we're called to be the light of the world and the salt of the earth. And sometimes Creator will put us in situations simply for our learning, for our soul growth, for our expansion, to prepare us for what is to come, for our role, for our purpose, for our higher calling, for what Creator has for our life. And in that temporary situation that I was in, that was keeping me from what I meant to be doing and for performing my minister's duties as an ordained minister, and to come and give a message on Sundays for those who are learning from me, and for those who choose to connect to higher consciousness, and for those who are seeking higher consciousness and vibrational beings of light, who do know the importance of energy, frequency, and vibration. I want to share how important it is to hold on to your light and hold on to yourself as soul. Now, the basics of life, which you're not going to get in a secular institution or a secular public school environment, is that we are spiritual beings, okay? We are infinite beings. We are souls, okay? The word says that Creator breathed the living breath into us. Creator breathed into us as living, breathing souls. Now, in the scriptures, when you look at the Holy Spirit and you look at the Holy Spirit in Hebrew, it is the Ruach, and it means breath, spirit. And this is what Creator breathed into us to make us living, breathing souls. Okay? So we're infinite souls in this body that is made from earth. Okay? But also, we have a precious nervous system. We have blood in our bodies. We have these organs in our bodies, these energy centers in our body. And we're obviously divinely created with extreme divine intelligence. We just have this life flowing through us. And sometimes I just have to remind myself to breathe. And because I'm like, oh, wow, I'm still here. And so I want to go back to whenever I was 15 years old. And I knew that there was something more to life than what I was being taught at school, because I knew that the school system was not teaching me truth. And I knew that what I was being taught, I have got to get a book under here. Let me get a book under here real quick. I knew what I was taught was not the truth. So I started seeking out on my own at 15 years old. And I want everybody who watches this video to go within, and that's better, and start seeking the truth for yourself. Anybody who watches any of my videos, I don't want you to take what I say and go, oh, well, she said it, so therefore, is true. I want everybody to go within and connect themselves as a living, breathing soul and connect to the truth on their own. Now, we do live in a world that, if you just look at it for what it is, okay, the school system is not teaching you that you're a living, breathing soul. Now, if you happen to go to a school, or you went to a school that taught you that you're a living, breathing soul, taught you about Creator, taught you about life is sacred, and taught you about all the things that I go into on my channel, congratulations, because I did not have that opportunity. My parents did not send me to a school to where I was able to learn the truth about who we are. This is something that I had to go within, connect to God within, connect to Creator within, connect to life within, and learn this through the school of life. And so I want to share some of the biggest challenges that I've had in this message, and that is holding on to my light and holding on to who I am as a living, breathing soul, and connecting to myself deep within on a soul level to know who I am, to know my identity, to know my purpose, to know my calling. And when I'm speaking from my own life experience, I'm sharing to teach you, those are who are in my audience, those who are viewing this content and who are listening to these messages that I'm called to teach and share for such a time as this, being in my purpose, being in my calling, constantly embodying what some would call like your higher self, or your soul self, your true self, embodying your calling and your purpose. And I want to share that we have to guard and protect our hearts. We have to guard and protect our light. We have to guard and protect our soul, because there are forces that are not of light who want to come in and to steal pieces and parts of your wholeness. Okay. So a value that I have that is very important to me is living wholeheartedly and living a good, wholesome life. And one of the most important things to me whenever I decided to get married before God and to go into marriage and life and family prayerfully was to have a wholesome family. And my husband and I, we went in to marriage prayerfully, and we prayed and we asked Creator to bless us with a child so that we could have a family. Now, he ultimately chose a different path, and he is still on that other path. However, I chose to continue to stay on the higher path that's full of Christed light. And today I can look back and say, wow, I have consciously been on this path with God, operating in my light as a soul who has not allowed society or the world or anything outside of me to taint me or to adulterate me or to turn me against my true self. And that is something that I'm sharing right now because it's so important. Okay. I have someone from England, okay, who has messaged me one day and asked me if they need a soul retrieval because they feel like that parts of who they are missing, and that they don't always feel connected to themselves as soul. They don't always feel conscious. They're not always in a place of awareness, and they feel like they go in and out of consciousness. They've had a lot of traumas. Their parents forced them out of the house whenever they were a teenager. So they have had different experiences that would cause their soul to fracture and who they are to fracture on a soul level. And if you're experiencing anything like that, then I would definitely say yes. Okay. Maybe not necessarily a soul retrieval to where we're completely having to retrieve the soul. However, there is a process to where you can call back parts of yourself as soul that have been fractured or broken off. And that's the most simplest way for me to word it. If you have any questions about anything that I'm sharing in this video about your soul and about your light, please email SheThatExists@gmail.com. If you want to look at the different services that I offer, I have my Beacon shop, and my Beacon shop is www.beacons.ai/SheThatExists. And then let's see. And then, of course, my website, which I'm redoing my website right now. I want to keep it more simple, more streamlined, www.SheThatExists.com. However, with that being said, I want to go back to our light. Okay. So when Creator created us, that's how we were formed in our mother's womb through this divine light, like this spark of light. Okay. And that light within us is our connection to Creator. It is who we are. Okay. Now, there is light in the world, there's darkness in the world, there's shadows in the world, because there are people who have turned away from Creator. Okay. And they don't listen to their God-given conscience, their Creator gifted conscience. And when you turn away from your Creator gifted conscience and your God-given conscience, that is where the darkness creeps in. That's where the shadows come in. And this has been going on intergenerationally. And so much of what I teach is to help people clear intergenerationally for their family tree. It seemed like my internet has slowed down a little bit. Much of what I teach is to help people clear intergenerationally for their family tree. A lot of the work that I do, I will say all of the work that I do with my clients is on a soul level. Okay. And as a metaphysician or metaphysical practitioner, much of the work that we do is in the mental realm, the emotional realm, the spiritual realm, the astral realm, which in return affects the physical body and the physical realm. Okay. Trying to break this down as simple as possible, because this is 33 years of education and life experience and knowledge and wisdom and overcoming and practice. You know, whenever I started my mastery in consciousness, gosh, I think it was like 2012 or 2013 or 14, when I was earning my mastery in consciousness. And, you know, back then it's just a daily practice on yourself. They had us do all these different practices for consciousness and to connect ourselves and self-awareness and consciousness and going deep within, just diving deep within to connect ourselves as soul, to know who we really are. One of the things that have just absolutely saved me, hands down, is knowing the word and what the word says about me as a child of God, and knowing who I am, because Yahushua HaMashiach, the one who self-exists and delivers, commonly known as Jesus Christ of Nazareth, has been my master teacher and guide for 33 years now. I have other teachers, I have other guides. However, the one who self-exists and delivers, Yahushua HaMashiach, is where I have what has helped me keep my identity. Because when we go into this world, there are going to be systems and people, groups, everything, you name it, to turn you against your true self. Okay. And even our parents, God bless my parents. And I honor them for doing the best that they could with what they had. However, even they tried to turn me against myself and my knowing of who I am as a child of God, and God has daughters too. And as they tried to turn me against myself as a believer and against myself and as my knowing. And a lot of the ministry work that I do and a lot of the ministry that I'm called to is to help people heal intergenerationally from intergenerational trauma and strongholds and unconsciousness. And a lot of what I see for those who have come to me over, I guess, 2 decades now, yeah, maybe longer, it's intergenerational. Okay. And the intergenerational stuff is disconnection from creator, disconnection from consciousness, and disconnection from life as sacred. So I see this in every aspect of life, no matter if someone is from a place of poverty or someone comes from a family of wealth. Okay. Upper class, middle class, lower class, like you name it. There is no upper class, middle class, or lower class when it comes to soul. Just like Yahushua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ of Nazareth, said, there's no male or female. There's no Jew, no Gentile. Like, the message that he was sharing is to truly help deliver people from the systems and the government of the day that were oppressive, that were denying true education and knowledge. And even the books of the Bible were adulterated and altered, and they took out a lot of the Gnostic texts because gnosis, Gnostic, gnosis, it means knowledge, truth, awareness, light. And so a lot of that was taken out. But and a lot of Yahushua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ of Nazareth, a lot of his life's work was turned into a man-made religion. And so a lot of what we deal with today is man-made religion. And so that's why I come on and share as just part and parcel of what I'm supposed to be sharing as a Yahushuan and as a high priestess of light. To continue the true message of what he was teaching, and that was to deliver people mentally, emotionally, and spiritually from captivity and bondage, and to provide real knowledge. And a lot of the knowledge and the education today is not knowledge. It's not education. It's to keep people dumbed down at a level of slavery at the lowest vibration possible, instead of building people up with true knowledge and true education and true light and awareness. And to connect people to consciousness. And you see a lot in the system today, the school system, to turn people away from their empathy and their compassion. And so I'm putting together some more courses. Now, what I need from you all, my audience, and what I need from you all is to send questions. And when you send questions, that's whenever I can answer your questions. And I could create courses and I could create master's classes. I'm also really, really good at helping CEOs and directors and vice presidents and assisting them with all the gifts and talents that I've been blessed with from Creator, not just intuitive abilities, but abilities to see things that most people can't see, especially having to do with life and business, and just seeing things on a soul level that I don't know, just Creator has really blessed me. Creator has really, really blessed me. So I offer SheThatExists signature soulology sessions. I offer metaphysical guidance and counseling sessions. I offer zoology sessions. I offer readings. I offer very in-depth metaphysical reports to go deeper into your life and just relationships or finances or calling or purpose, past relationships, family stuff, past traumas, everything that you name it. The metaphysical soulology reports that I offer, sometimes they're so in-depth, they end up being 12 to 15 pages. So anyway, with that being said, please share your experiences that you've had. Okay. Share things that you've been through, and that will help me provide my audience with what you all need, what you all actually need. When you're connected to consciousness and when you're connected to your light, you're going to be more creative. Okay, you're going to have more inspiration. You're going to have more moments of inspiration where you feel inspired and divinely guided. You'll know that you're not connected to yourself as soul and you're not connected to consciousness if the creativity is gone, if the divine inspiration is missing. If you're just feeling like blah, like, what is this life for? That's a sure sign that you're not connected to consciousness, that you do have some soul fragmentation and that there is some soul loss. And then a lot of times when people are just in constant stress, and you're just like in this mundane, your energy gets like cut off. It's not flowing right in the body. And they're just all different signs. And just even with everything being energy, frequency, and vibration, a lot of the stuff that is on television, okay, the programming, it's created to disconnect you from consciousness and to lower your vibration. Okay, so just know that even the music and everything on the radio and everything, it's all for entrainment. Okay, entrainment is to program your mind, program your consciousness. You want to focus on things that are high vibrational. You want to focus on things that bring you enjoyment. And you want to get out in nature as much as you can. So I'm going to leave it at that. It's already at 27 minutes. So, but the theme of this message this Sunday evening, in the ministry message, is hold on to your light and your soul with everything that you have. And if you need to reclaim your soul and reclaim your light, do it, because it's probably the biggest asset. It's the biggest asset, most valuable thing that you have in this life, other than your children, okay, and your lineage and your legacy. So hold on to your light, reclaim your light, hold on to yourself as soul, and don't let anybody take it from you. Okay, stand in your light and know who you are as a living, breathing soul. I wrote a minister's article and a ministry article, and that ministry article has been published on She Rises Studios, published that ministry article. So you can go and just type into Google She Rises Studios, Reverend Kerrie D. Stone, and the minister's article that I published called Remembering Who You Are as Living, Breathing Soul. I think that's the name of the article, but it has to do with remembering and knowing who you are as a living, breathing soul. And that minister's article that I wrote is and has been published by She Rises Studios. And so I'm grateful to She Rises Studios for that. So this is all for now. And like I said, please just email questions that you have, about, wanting to know who you are, why you're here, your calling, your purpose, more about yourself as soul, going deeper and diving more into yourself and connecting to consciousness, or, whatever comes up. If it's like family stuff, past family stuff. A lot of us, we were taught false belief systems, not just from the school system and the system, but false belief systems from our parents, false belief systems that aren't even real, like once we get going and once everybody in the audience starts sharing more, you'll realize that a lot of your belief systems that you have, they're not even true. They're not even real. Okay. So to schedule or book a coaching session with me, just email me at SheThatExists@gmail.com and just title the subject, book a session, that you want to book a session with me. And then I'll send you my Beacon store link, and you see what you're interested in. And people ask me, about offering services for free anymore. I don't offer services for free anymore after 33 years. And I recently made a business decision to no longer offer services for free, because I noticed that the people that I did give my time and my light and my energy and my attention to, it wasn't appreciated and they weren't respectful. Um, and so I still offer sliding scale services. All of my education and everything I have in life, I invested in myself. And I've had other people invest in me while I was earning my bachelor's degree, to become ordained, because I didn't really, believe in myself at the time, and I didn't know that God would call on me as a woman and as a mother, to become ordained and to become a minister, because I was raised in a deep, 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 deep area of misogyny. And people who are misogynistic, they're not going to empower or equip women and mothers and daughters to become leaders. And they're going to disparage and keep mothers and women and daughters in the lowest place in society. And you see that with a lot of male ministers as well, and a lot of male pastors, and a lot of male priests, that women are kept in very low places in society and disparaged and quiet, and turned against themselves and forced with mind control and different beliefs to keep people in places of low self-esteem and low self-value, low self-worth. So I help break up all those false belief systems as well, and help people really connect to their true value, their true worth, their true soul identity, and reconnect to their purpose and why they're here, and help people. People have called me a healer, but it's only Creator Almighty's light in me and my walk with Yahushua HaMashiach, that would even place me in a position to be able to do that, being an open vessel and an open channel for God, Creator, to use me, because God lives in my heart, and to have a pure heart and a pure spirit in this world. It's that in itself is a full-time job, and I've managed to do that, I guess, successfully as well. And so, yeah, I do sliding scale. I no longer offer free services anymore. Now, I do want to put out an offer for those who are interested in spiritual coaching and guidance and leadership, as for those who do have low income. So if you are interested in a low income group coaching session, please let me know and email me about that. Otherwise, all of my other services are online in my shop on beacons.ai/SheThatExists. And yeah, I was sharing about how I always invested in myself. I worked for my dad when he had this boutique on the weekends, whenever I was like 10, 11, or 12. I can't remember. I just knew that I was always so excited to go into the arcade when I wasn't working for my dad and play Pac-Man, because I made sure I got number 1 and number 2 and was the best in Pac-Man. And I was very competitive back then. And so, yeah, they always had me in competitive sports. So I was very competitive. So then I got my first job, not working for my dad, whenever I was 15, at a Mexican restaurant as a cashier. And I remember with that paycheck, I just knew the school system wasn't telling me the truth about everything. And I knew my parents weren't telling me the truth about life, and that they weren't equipping me for life. And so I spent my paycheck on self-help books, and and started really, really, really investing in myself whenever I was 15 years old. So if I can invest in myself at 15 years old, okay, buying self-help books, books on religion and spirituality, and books written by PhDs and counselors, okay, then you can invest in yourself, okay? And I want to tell you that investing in yourself is one of the most important things that you can do in your life, because it says that you love yourself, it says that you value yourself, it says that you believe in yourself. So I encourage you to step into yourself, invest in yourself, and believe in yourself, to book a session with me, or to join my group coaching. And as a metaphysical practitioner and ordained minister, life is sacred guide, and zoologist and metaphysical practitioner. Even though I already said metaphysical practitioner. So yeah. I don't know, just as a mom and as a daughter and as a matriarch, I really want to encourage you to dive deep within yourself and discover who you are. On a soul level, we're living in life where there's a war on life is sacred. There's a war on the sacredness of life. There's a war on the sacredness of family, man, woman, and child. And even me, I've had such a hard time, just even finding a man that I feel like is at my level, as far as standing up for what's right, standing for what is real, and standing in truth and righteousness, and standing in wholeness. And to have a wholesome, healthy, loving relationship, and wholesome, healthy, loving family, to continue a happy, healthy, wholesome, joyful family tree intergenerationally, and a legacy, and standing for a life that matters, and standing in truth, and standing in legacy and righteousness. And so I see a lot of people who there's a lot of intergenerational trauma. There's a lot of intergenerational unconsciousness. And so I help with that. Knowledge is power. True meaning of education means to lead out. So I'm going to leave it at that. And this is Reverend Kerrie Stone, and I am the founder and the owner of She That Exists, and I am the founder of She That Exists HerStory channel right here on the YouTube. And this is my Sunday ministry message for October 5th, 2025. I do have an Aries full moon offering that I put out because I have a love for the moon. I've had a love for the moon since I was little, and I would go outside and I would just sit under the stars, and that love for the moon has never gone away, and sitting outside under the stars. And so I did. I put out an Aries full moon offering, and if you want to know more about that offering, just email SheThatExists@gmail.com, or you can follow me on my Facebook, Kerrie D. Stone, and it's publicly posted as an offer on the Facebook as well. The other platforms that I'm on, Instagram, She That Exists, the Uniter of Tribes, and I started my TikTok. I had so many people, Kerrie, you need to start a TikTok. You need to start your TikTok. You need to start your TikTok. So I finally did it. And the TikTok is She That Exists. What else would it be, right? I think it's official She That Exists, because sooner or later, I'll have like the copycats, like people trying to impersonate me. Although there's one me, there's only going to be one me. That's all there's ever going to be. So with that being said, email your questions to SheThatExists at Gmail, SheThatExists@gmail, and I'll come on here and I'll answer questions for people that can't afford services with me. And let me see if I'm forgetting anything. Nope, that's all. All right, so I'll be back, and I'm so grateful that I'm finally getting back into alignment with what I'm meant to do, what my calling is, and what my purpose is. And I've been resting and recovering, I think, for like 2 weeks now. I'll share more about that later. However, I'm grateful to be back in alignment. And once you're on the journey of self-discovery and self-knowing and self-mastery and knowing who you are and who you are as a living, breathing soul and connected to God, creator within, for your life, you'll realize how important alignment is, and only working jobs that are in alignment, only working for people that are in alignment, only working, giving your energy and attention and your focus on things that are in alignment, so it feeds your spirit instead of drains your spirit on a soul level. Like I said, your soul is gold. Okay, your light is gold. Okay, guard your heart. It's gold. Okay, this is all for now. And this is Reverend Kerrie D. Stone. I'll be back until next time. Oh, and then I'll add my official authors page as well. I have an authors page on Facebook. Let's see, six international women's anthologies I've been a part of now. And I'll share more about that later and create a video about that another time. However, I'm off to go and study and work on some things. And there are some audio things I want to put together for offer in my Beacon shop. And then I want to put together a new master's course. And I'm not sure what it's going to be for my next Conscious Masters course, but my first Conscious Masters course that I created, directed, and produced and put together is the truth about parental alienation and the truth about what's going on with all that, because there's so much hidden and there's so much distortion and there's so much lack of truth that people aren't telling. So with that being said, I'll be back until next time, and it feels so good. It's 8:18. It feels so good to be back in alignment again and going here live on Sundays and sharing my Sunday message. So go deeper. Go deeper, go deeper, go deeper, go deeper, because life is sacred. And email me any questions that you have about your life and your journey and consciousness or God or creator or the purpose and meaning in our life or truth, reality, the totality of your existence. I call it the totality of my existence. And this is all. And I'll be back until next time. Everything I do for my daughter and for lineage and legacy, and life is sacred. So until next time, this is all.